well, hey, because I need to upgrade that version, I've got what we call advanced actions for your technicians on the help desk. And, this doesn't have to, it's role-based administration, so whoever you want to give access to, but he'd go over here and say, hey, here's the packages that we have available for this person to be able to send out to an end user. He can go out, say, apply this action, automatically install the software without having to ask somebody else to do it, without having to say, hey, sorry, I can't help you with that. I'm going to have to assign this incident to somebody else, but really making that end user or that technician become like a second and third level technician with all the things that they could do. And then, hey, what if maybe he needs to remote control that machine? He could write, go ahead, remote control. He could remote control that machine. And it's going to pop up the remote control viewer on his machine, get him into the same session that the end user's in, so he's going to be able to remote control that device and maybe have that user walk them through that particular problem that they're having. So this end user doesn't have anything on their system, but basically say, all right, walk me through exactly what you're doing so I can see what the error is that's going on. So really you're really enabling your end users or your technicians and your end users to be able to do more with less IT intervention. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and end now and bring Dick back on. Any questions that have been brought up, we would absolutely love to answer those, but thank you very much for your time.
Hey, great job, Ty. I certainly appreciate your time as well. Now would be a good time to submit a question in the Q&A box, but while we're waiting for some questions to come in, I've got a couple. One thing that I noticed when you went through the demonstration was the unauthorized software that can show up. I thought that was really cool. What happened? Is that tied at all to, let's say you have FootPrints Service Core and change management, is that tied at all to change management so that you could go out and check to see if a change request was made for a particular piece of software just to make sure that it's okay? Or could that be tied? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it could be tied. So it could be tied to doing an automatic install if it's unauthorized. It could be tied to maybe a something that was in change management. So if there's a change against it, we'd be able to view that. So there are a lot of capabilities and things that we could do around an unauthorized piece of software.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that certainly makes sense, because I think that if you see some software showing up on your network that's not supposed to be there, it could be a security violation as well. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. One question, I think this is probably a pretty basic question, but where do these patches come from? In the patch management, you have a list of all kinds of different software. Where do you get the updated software from?
Excellent question. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Shavlik, we OEM the Shavlik product, so they provide us the content for patch management. So what you do is you download their XML file to scan your machines against, but we also get the patches that are already pre-built from them, so they've been tested. So for those of you that are familiar with Java updates, where it sometimes installs a toolbar on Internet Explorer and things like that, all of that stuff gets stripped out, and you get a thoroughly tested patch that comes, essentially you download it from the servers, from our servers, and into your environment.
Okay. Here's a question that just came in. What is the difference between BMC ADDM and Sccm?
So BMC ADDM, to be completely honest, ADDM is a more detailed view of my environment. So let me bring you to the screen, and it will make a lot of sense. So in ADDM, this could be 4 or 5 layers deep, clear down to the service level, the service that's running on that machine. So I could go down at the service and say, who would be impacted at this service level of this being offline? So where this will take you really far, and for a lot of customers will take you as far as you need to go, ADDM gives you that extra capability, especially, for remedy users, It gives you that extended capability to really see more granular information of how something being offline is going to be impacted, but really clear down to the service level of impact. Of, all right, hey, we've got this server, we've got this router, we've got this SQL Server running, these instances of SQL Server that are running on this server, and where is it all, and where is this all tied in? So it gives you a lot more detailed view and information with ADDM, if that's something that you've been investigating.
Isn't one agentless and one has agents? Isn't that another difference?
Yeah. So ADDM is an agentless product. Sorry, I didn't mention that. ADDM is agentless. This is an agent-based product. However, this product is, I mentioned before that we discover switches, router, IP phones, things like that. Those don't have an agent on them. All we do is use SNMP, do an SNMP interrogation to bring that information back. So those are agentless in the discovery.
Okay. Here's a question that just came in, and I don't know the answer to this one. It says, is BMC FootPrints the old NAMP? I don't know what NAMP is. Ty, do you?
I do. I wasn't around during those days, but I do know what it is. It's the Newmar Asset Management product. Best case, that's about 3 years old. But yes, this is the updated, better version of the NAMP software.
Okay. Do the versions correlate? Like there's going to be a version 12 coming out soon for Service Core? Is there going to be a version 12 of Asset Core?
Yeah, so what we try and do is make the versions correlate. So right now 11.6 is I would call the gold version, the release version right now. So we've got 11.6 Asset Core that correlates with the FootPrints Asset Core products. Even though they aren't dependent on each other, you can have one or both, but their product versions do match. And there is a version 12 that's going to be coming out here relatively quickly.
Okay. Next question. We currently use Service Desk Express and Microsoft Sccm to image and deploy updates. How can FootPrints work with Sccm for asset tracking? It is highly unlikely we will go away from Sccm.
So if you're talking about the FootPrints Service Core product, we have the ability, so we have a connector to Sccm. There's a built-in connector where we can pull data in. So we have the ability for you to populate your CMDB, do some of those things that I showed you with when you pull up the end user, see information about that. But it's not going to be a full-blown integration. That would definitely be something that you would talk to Dick more about maybe being able to do additional functionality like deploying software and things like that. But there is a built-in connector to be able to pull information into the system already.
Right, and that's a pretty common situation. A lot of customers have Sccm and want to maintain that investment that they have, and at the same time integrate it into their Service Desk product like SDE or Service Core. So that would be a normal thing to do.